How to become a millionaire at any age, step by step. And look, this isn't some theoretical advice, okay? I'm gonna tell you exactly what I did because I was able to have a $1 million net worth by the age of 26, and I had my first $1 million in cash at the age of 28. And off top, that's a very important distinction to make because some people will tell you they made a certain amount of money, but they won't tell you whether or not that is net worth or their actual equity or cash value. And so I'm a big believer in only taking advice from people that you actually want to learn from because they've accomplished something that you want to accomplish. Hey Sean, look, I can show you how to get to the moon. Right. Okay, and as someone who became a millionaire before 30, I think I'm qualified enough to tell you exactly what it takes. And look, let me say this now. Becoming a millionaire is actually a lot easier than you may think. The problem is you need to know the exact path and the steps to take. So what I want to do in this video is talk about the 4 paths on how to become a millionaire, the things you want to avoid on your path, and my experience of becoming a millionaire before age 30. So if all that sounds great to you, then all I ever ask is for you to hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. That way other people like you can find this video. And right now, this is a new channel. So if you get any value from this video, please consider subscribing so I feel more confident about making videos on this channel. Stay tuned. Hey there, and if you're new, welcome to the channel. I'm Sean Standberry, an entrepreneur and investor who wants to help you build wealth through business and finance, and I hold nothing back. Now, as always, I want you to know that I'm gonna put the timestamps for this video somewhere down in the description below so that you can skip to the parts that you want to learn the most about. However, this video gives away some of my best ideas when it comes to business and becoming a millionaire, so I highly recommend watching this video from start to finish. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in with section number 1, the 4 paths to becoming a millionaire. So in my mind, there are just 4 simple paths anyone can take regardless of your age to become a millionaire or get rich. Okay, you have number 1, the guaranteed path to become a millionaire. Number 2, you have the fastest path to become a millionaire. Number 3, you have a great path to become a millionaire. And number 4, you have a crazy path to become a millionaire. And I'm gonna spend some time going through all 4. And I want you to tell me down in the comment section below which path you would take as I go through them. All right, so number 1 is the guaranteed path. So this is the path that is often described as the American dream. Okay, this is where you acquire a skill set or a degree, then you start a career that you're willing to work in for the next 30 to 40 years. Then during your career, you invest in your employer-sponsored retirement plan or your self-funded retirement plan. Okay, along the way, you would budget your money, live frugally, and make smart financial decisions like avoiding too much debt. But here's the thing, okay, and here's what many people won't tell you. This is probably one of the slowest ways to get rich, and here's why. First of all, wages and salaries are taxed as ordinary income, which can be a 50% or more tax rate when you consider federal and state taxes. So even if you earn $200,000 per year, you could really be left with $100,000 after taxes. And then you have your lifestyle expenses like your mortgage, your rent, your food, your childcare, your entertainment. So let's say you have $60,000 in annual expenses, which leaves you with $40,000 each year to contribute toward growing your net worth. And if you invested into safe index or mutual funds, it can actually take you years to become a millionaire. Hey Sean, look, I'm on my path to become a millionaire. Okay, so basically, many people on this path likely won't hit millionaire status until they reach retirement age, which is why you may consider another path like number 2, the fastest way to become a millionaire. And here's where I can start talking about my personal journey and my personal experience. But first, let's look at some data from the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances. As you can see, this chart illustrates what investments and assets people own based on their net worth. It takes a look at their cash position, their primary residence, their vehicles, their retirement accounts, their life insurance policies, their business interests, their real estate, and their stocks and other assets. So as you can see, people who have a net worth of less than $1 million have the bulk of their money invested into their primary residence in a retirement fund. Whereas people who have a net worth of $1 million or more have the bulk of their money invested in a business. So what does this tell us? Well, it shows that business is likely the best and fastest way to build long-term wealth. In fact, 75% of millionaires are self-employed, and here's a few reasons why. Okay, number one, many businesses can produce unlimited returns, thus they have no ceiling on the income that they can produce, whereas most wages and salaries are capped by employers. Number two, businesses can take advantage of the tax code. They have access to more tax deductions and more tax credits to lower the amount they actually pay in taxes. So remember, from our example earlier, where people who earn $200,000 may only keep $100,000 after taxes. Well, business owners and investors have the potential to earn $200,000 and then actually keep it after taxes. Reason number three is that businesses have leverage. They can leverage capital, time, and code to scale and multiply their money, sometimes overnight. And so that's exactly what I did, okay? I grabbed my brother and my best friend, and we created a business that was able to generate more than $3.2 million in revenue in 2018. Hey, Sean, look, I'm on my path to becoming a millionaire. Okay, maybe, but here's the truth, right? There were 4 to 5 really hard years before we started making millions of dollars in revenue through our business. And look, those first 4 to 5 years, we failed a lot. Okay, we were really trying, but we kept failing again and again. And it was a super stressful period of time. And thankfully, what we did was we learned from our mistakes. We made smarter investments. We never gave up, and we started cracking the code on business growth. And look, you can start a business at any age. In fact, the founder of KFC, Colonel Sanders, started a franchise at 65 years old. But here's the truth, okay? Business isn't for everyone. In fact, according to stats from the SBA, 9 out of 10 startups fail. But I do believe you can attempt to grow a business with very little risk to make it happen. So make sure you are subscribed to my channel to learn about some of my recommended business ideas. Okay, let's talk about the third path, number 3, a great way to become a millionaire. So if entrepreneurship and business isn't for everyone and wages aren't the fastest way to go, then what else could you do? Well, here's where becoming an investor and investing into real estate comes into play, because owning rental properties aren't as risky as running a successful business. And that's because the real estate industry hasn't changed very much for hundreds, if not thousands of years, right? Like, everyone needs a place to live, and people prefer to live in places where there are great resources available. So the business model behind buying rental property investments is proven. And so many successful real estate investors will teach people how to find a great location with good migration and good jobs, and then also get good debt on the property, then find great tenants, and basically repeat the process. Now, as a disclaimer, there are still risks associated with real estate investing, such as using too much debt to acquire properties, and not every property will turn out great. But the tax benefits of real estate are truly unmatched. It's one of the only investments where you can earn cash flow, but report a loss on your tax return due to depreciation. It's also one of the only investments where you can completely avoid capital gains taxes on your rental properties if you exchange it for another investment property. But not only does real estate have great tax benefits, it also historically appreciates in value, It produces cash flow. It is a hard asset, like you can touch real estate. It is controllable, so you can fully control your investment unless you decide to partner with other people, and a lot more. And currently, I make over $5,000 a month in passive real estate income, tax-free, due to depreciation. But what I love most is that it is a safe way to preserve my capital that I get from my business income. Now let's quickly talk about number 4, a crazy way to become a millionaire. Okay, here's the thing. I typically would not recommend this path unless you have a solid backup plan because, well, this is crazy. Because on this path, you make investments that have a very low percentage of success. For example, this will be the person who is fully committed and ready to invest into becoming a famous actor or artist, or the person who wants to spend their life practicing a sport to become a professional athlete, or the person who is willing to take on unproven investments like crypto or NFTs as a means to make more money. And look, if you are able to become successful at these things, then you have a high chance of becoming a millionaire. But the percentage of you actually accomplishing it is very low. Because the truth is, not everyone will make it. Not everyone will land that millionaire movie role or make it big in crypto. So I think you gotta be a little bit crazy to pursue this path because the odds are stacked against you. Okay, so that's section number 1 in the paths you should know to become a millionaire. Now let's move on to section number 2 and talk about the things to avoid on your path. So I'm going to go through my 4 big rules for building wealth. The first rule is don't move in too many directions at once. Look, each path is attractive and you're likely going to need to do a mixture of all of them throughout your journey. But here's the thing, okay? There is speed and focus. Okay, let me repeat that. There is speed and focus. Because there is always going to be a new opportunity. There's always going to be another way to make money and get rich. But when you get to a place where you have a concrete plan that is working and you're seeing momentum, if you can stick to that plan, you can actually go further in one direction than moving in all over the place. The second rule is don't do something that you hate. If you're doing something just to make money, I don't care if it's a career, a business, or investment, eventually you'll find any and every reason to give up because your brain and your natural state of mind will constantly remind you that you hate this activity. Now, I'm not saying that you won't experience any hardships or challenges because look, you definitely will on your path to becoming a millionaire. But if you know that you would never do something unless you were getting paid, then it's probably not a good area for you. Okay, the third rule is don't blindly take advice from the wrong people. As I mentioned in the intro, you want to take advice from people who have accomplished something that you want to accomplish. Because look, once you declare to people that you want to become a millionaire and you actually start building momentum, like you're starting to make 6 figures, everyone's going to have something to say. Hey, Sean, look, I think you should invest in these stocks. No, Sean. I think you should invest in this real estate property. It's gonna make millions. Okay, yes, everyone's going to have an opinion and want to share their ideas with you. But like I said earlier, focus and try to learn from people who are in your industry and can help you move according to your plan. Don't lose sight of that. Okay, the fourth rule is don't spend aggressively or acquire too much debt. And I like this rule specifically for people who are not millionaires yet. Because look, you don't have a lot of margin for error. Spending too much money on a service or spending too much on an employee or getting a loan that is super big can absolutely destroy your financial life. So even though you may want to move fast and get to $1 million as fast as possible, please don't make irrational decisions and take your time. And look, even today, I get excited about opportunities and I have impulses to buy things related to my business all the time. But one thing that I like to do now is I like to wait until my excitement wears down or I start thinking about every possible thing that could go wrong before I make any big spending decisions. Okay, let's move on to the third section of this video and do a quick run through of number 3, my exact path on how to become a millionaire step by step. Okay, so here are the steps in a timeline of what I did. Okay, at age 14 to 17 years old, I was working low-wage part-time jobs. And during that time, I saved all my money and I was extremely frugal, like extremely. Okay, back then I had a budget for the dollar menu at McDonald's. Okay, so I was serious about budgeting and saving my money. So by age 18, I had $10,000 saved and I started my first side hustle as a tax preparer while also doing school and other part-time jobs. Now this is where I have to give my dad some credit because during this time he had just quit working for the IRS and I had joined him in preparing tax returns. So everyone I knew at school who were getting jobs and going to college, I was calling them and asking if I could prepare their taxes. And in a couple of years, I tripled my savings from $10,000 to $30,000 in my personal bank account. So at age 20, I got with my best friend and my brother and we launched our first business, a promotions and marketing company while we were still in college. And we used that company to negotiate a life-changing deal with a student apartment where in exchange for marketing services, we were able to live in their community rent-free. And at the time, this was a win-win because they had a new community with a lot of vacancies, so they didn't really lose any money from allowing us to stay there, and we were able to get free rent while also building up our work and our portfolio. And because I had $30,000 in savings and very little expenses, I was able to keep doing taxes part-time and invest more time and money into that company for about the next 4 to 5 years. And like I said, by year 5, we found a formula for success and we put gas on it and we saw exponential growth for about 4 years straight, going from something like $500,000 to $1 million at age 26, from $1 million to $2 million at age 27, and from $2 million to $3 million at age 28. And that was probably the most unbelievable and stressful time of my entire life so far. And so that was my path and my experience. And this is why I am such a big advocate of entrepreneurship and investing, because it is the thing that has actually worked for me. Okay, coming up next, I have 2 more videos where I talk about business and investing. So make sure you check those out if you haven't already, and I'll see you over there.